Hey guys, in this video what I'm going to be doing here is a how-to video to properly install and configure Windows 95 in VMware due to several attempts to finding ways to get Windows 95 to work properly in VMware. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to modify the VMX file, the virtual machine that we're going to be doing a Windows 95 install for some important reasons. So I'm using VMware Fusion to be exact. So if you're doing this with VMware Workstation, it's going to be slightly different because VMware Workstation is exclusively for Windows. So we're going to go, like for Mac, we're going to go to Share, Open Package Contents, and we're going to right click and use our text editor to modify the VMX. So we're going to change some of the PCI bridges to false. See, like right in this little area where it says sound auto detect, we're going to make a little space. But you want to go ahead and put sound.virtualdev SB16 because we're going to put SoundBlaster 16. This will work a lot better than using the SoundBlaster 128 driver that a lot of people use in VMware for Windows 95, or the Creative Sonic driver, because you can actually use SoundBlaster 16 in Windows 95 in VMware. Same with 98 First Edition. And we're going to manually change the hardware compatibility to an older version of VMware. Where it says virtual HW version, we're going to change that to version 4. And we're going to save the VMX file. You could do this with Notepad if you're doing this with VMware Workstation. Same with those that are using VMware Player, so we're going to close them out of here. And this is going to make installing Windows 95 a lot easier in VMware. We're just going to go ahead and type in fdisk. We're going to enable large disk support. And we're going to create a DOS partition or logical disk drive. Create a primary DOS partition. We want to use the maximum available size for the primary DOS partition. And we're going to restart. We're going to do format C:. And we're going to hit Y to do the format. And just go ahead and press enter. So we're going to do something a little important here. This is where we're going to copy the cab files from the Windows 95 disk to the hard drive. We're going to do MD Windows. We're going to do CD Windows so we can change the directory. And we're going to make another directory called for options. This is how usually a lot of OEMs would do it. MD-cat. And since we're using the Windows 95 boot disk, we're going to change the drive letter to R. I'm going to do CD Win95. Copy. star C:/Windows options cabs. Do our little dir. Go ahead and run setup.exe. And we're going to go ahead and click continue and accept the license agreement. We're going to go ahead and click next. We're going to select other directory because we don't want it in Windows.000. And we're going to click yes to continue with the specified directory. And we could do typical. And I'll be right back. So we'll go ahead and enter your product key. Alright, so once we get the product key enabled, and since we got the product key put in, so we'll go ahead and enter our name. So we're going to go ahead and select network adapter, sound card, MIDI, and video capture card. Just give it some time so it can analyze the so-called computer, even though this is a virtual machine, of course. Alright, since it's done analyzing the so-called virtual machine, alright, so you're going to have this little screen where it says Window Components. You want to hold it right there. And I'm going to show you what you want to click on. We're going to go ahead and select Show Me a List of Components so I can choose. The reason why we want this option is because there's some important things we're going to need. So we can be able to test the sound card. So we're going to go ahead and click Next since we're going to show a list. We're going to go ahead and select all the accessories, so we can be able to have all the backgrounds, the games, and screensavers, and have everything on all the accessories, like I mentioned, games and so forth. Okay, so you're going to see this multimedia category. We're going to uncheck. I'm going to uncheck it, and I'm going to check it back. So we make sure we have selected everything so we can be able to have the volume control, multimedia sound schemes, because we're going to need that to test the sound card, as well as sample sounds for the MIDI files. So far, we're going to go ahead and click Next. And no, we don't need a startup disk. We'll go ahead and click Next. And let setup do its thing, and I'll be right back. Alright, so since the file copying portion of setup is done, so what I did while it was doing the whole so-called file copying, I went ahead and inserted a disk that's going to allow me to install a CPU patch, which is going to be highly important. So we'll go ahead and reboot. So what I did was I insert the Windows 95 CPU patch floppy disk, so we can install this CPU patch, so we don't need to read the README file. And this will allow you to use Windows 95 on faster CPUs, so we don't get Windows protection error. So we can go ahead and disconnect the virtual floppy drive. Hold on a minute. We just restart it manually. We're just going to go ahead and give it a computer name. We're just going to do set up our little there we go, got everything that we need. So we'll go ahead and set your time zone. And we don't need to add a printer. It's not like we're going. And you should be able to hear sound once everything gets detected. So this is the first boot. Go ahead and enter your user information. So there you have it. Windows 95 has been set up. So we're going to go ahead and install VMware tools. While we wait to do that, we're going to make a few little adjustments. Take that suspend option off the start menu. It's not like we're going to really put the virtual machine in standby. And we're just going to go ahead and do typical. We'll just hit yes. I'm going to select OK. And of course, we're going to install the VGA driver manually. So we'll hit click finish. And we ain't going to restart now because we're going to install the video driver. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select, highlight this so we can copy it and paste. We're going to go to advanced. We're going to click where it says change. Have disk. We're going to paste the directory. So it'll at least save us some time. We're going to go to VMware SVGA. Click browse. Make sure we're in the right path. And we're going to go ahead and restart. Since the video driver is installed, we're going to go ahead and log back on. So we can go ahead and close, disable that. And we're going to do some little test the moment of truth. We're just going to select plug and play monitor. And click yes, so we can apply the new settings. VMware tools and everything, the video driver configured. What I'm going to be doing is we're going to try and get a chipset driver, because if you notice, if you look in while this is going to extract, I'm using an older version of VMware. Yeah, an older version of WinZip. So in VMware, you may notice you have some issue, some little error. It's missing a device, a PCI bridge. We're going to open up disk 1. And we're using Intel version 2.80.008. So it should now, the virtual machine, detect the fully up-to-date drivers, so we could be able to have fully functioning drivers in Windows 95 and VMware. We'll go ahead and click next. We'll just hit finish. So it's going to detect more drivers, so we'll let it install some drivers while it can. Since all the drivers that we got installed, we can delete the installers that we needed to get the chipset drivers. So let's check our device manager to see what we got. So no missing devices, no missing drivers in our devices. So we're going to make sure to test our sound card to make sure our sound card is fully functional, since it picked up the built-in SoundBlaster 16 driver. Let's go into the media folder by going to the through the Windows folder. Your media folder should look like this. So let's do let's test a MIDI file to make sure the MIDI sequence is working like it should. So far, it's working pretty good. Gotta love that classic FM synthesis. But you can use an updated SoundBlaster 16 driver if you like. So let's play the iconic Windows 95 startup. Well, hey, when you got Windows 95 with working drivers in VMware, you're basically in business. So let's go ahead and end the video. I hope this little guide will help you guys, and stay tuned for more, and thanks for watching.